Welcome back to your favorite channel. Hope everyone's doing well, right? You came here to learn more sales. Today, the hidden psychology of sales. Why humans really buy. Let's get down to the nitty gritty, right? Let's have some fun with it. So when I'm listening to a lot of bookkeepers, CPAs, tax preparers, really any industry, right? My stuff applies to everything. What I'm hearing is a lot of studying of scripts, right? And what you have to understand that elite salespeople, they study human nature. So I really wanted to bring that in and show kind of what the difference truly is. And understand that sales is not really about products, okay? It's about sales psychology, okay? And what is that? You need to understand fear, desire, status, identity, emotion, certainty, pain, right? And human behavior. Guys, the closer who understands people will always outperform the closer who memorizes lines. So even in my other videos that you're watching, you could sit there, run those videos with the word tracks. I pretty much put them in all of them. But if you're watching those, right, and you can memorize all of those, it's not going to matter. Because if you can start to recognize human behavior, recognize patterns within your communication that you got going on, right? So that's the big thing. That's what you got to get good at. So let's write this down. Grab your pencil and paper. You need to take notes. What's written is retained, right? Point one, what I'm going to cover today is, write this down. Human beings buy emotionally, not logically. Human beings buy emotionally, not logically. All right, here's a good fact for you, that human beings make emotional decisions first and logical decisions second. Okay, and here's why. The emotional part of the brain, okay, it reacts faster than the logical part. So people feel, right, before they even think. That means your prospect is emotionally decided. When you're speaking to them, you're fighting genetics, you're fighting all of that, right? Does this feel safe? Does this person feel trustworthy? Can I see myself succeeding? Does this feel believable? Do I feel understood? Before they even care about the details, okay? You have to understand, like, here's an example for you. Nobody buys a gym membership because of treadmills, okay? They buy confidence, attraction, status, energy, self-worth. Nobody buys bookkeeping training because they love bookkeeping, right? They buy the programs to get certified because they love financial freedom, stability, respect, independence, hope, right? So here's the lesson right here. Stop explaining for products first. Start uncovering emotional desires first. And understand that emotion is what opens people up, okay? And logic simply justifies the decision afterward, okay? Write this down. Point two, people desperately want to feel important. People desperately want to feel important. What do I mean by that? Here's a beautiful, beautiful fact for you, okay? One of the deepest human desires is significance. One of the deepest human desires is significance. Why? Guys, human beings, yourself, right? You want to feel these things. Valuable, respected, seen, intelligent, capable, right? Most people secretly feel insecure. Salespeople who make prospects feel important gain emotional influence fast. So it's 2026, guys. You got to make these people feel heard and understood and make them feel important. And they got to think that they're speaking to someone who's important, right? It's huge. Listen, here's some examples, all right? You're asking smart questions. Most people never even take action toward changing their life. Most people never take action towards changing their life, Janet. You're doing it today. It's big time stuff, right? You clearly care about your future. See, now what happens right there is now the prospect emotionally feels elevated. And people naturally move toward environments where they feel respected. So the sales lesson right here is you don't want to talk down to their prospects. You want to make them feel capable, make them feel smart, make them feel like they matter. And what that does is that builds trust psychology, okay? Here's point three. We've got to write this down, okay? Certainty is emotionally contagious, all right? Human beings are going to mirror emotional states subconsciously. Why? Because, guys, the brain is constantly scans people for emotional cues. It's constantly doing things. Boom, 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 right? And if you sound nervous or unsure, desperate or hesitant, what happens is that prospect's brain senses danger, okay? But if you sound calm, certain, convicted, and relaxed, guys, the prospect feels emotionally safer. Such a big difference right there. So I think the lesson from this point is you just have to walk away understanding that, hey, people do not follow uncertainty, they follow leadership, and that's why your tone matters sometimes more than your wording. All right, and that weak energy is going to destroy really, really, really good scripts. Okay, so you got to have a good balance of energy, persuasion, okay, all of those things, word tracks. So just remember this. Here's an elite mindset for you. The best closers already believe, hey, I can help this person. I know this has value. I'm here to guide them. And that certainty transfers emotionally. Write this down. Here's my point. Here's point number 4. Here's point number 4, okay? Boom! People hate losing more than they love winning. Right? Isn't that crazy? That people hate to lose more than they love to win? That's not true about me. I love to win more than anything, right? But no, it's true. People hate losing more than they love winning. Here's a wonderful thing to kind of burn in your brain. Loss aversion is one of the strongest psychological triggers. Loss aversion is one of the strongest psychological triggers. Why, Nate? Why? Why is that true? Why is that true? Well, because humans feel pain stronger than pleasure psychologically. Understand this, that losing $1,000 emotionally hurts more than $1,000 gaining feels good. Do not just talk about what they want, guys. Talk about what they continue losing if nothing changes. Notice I'm pausing because it's important. All right? It's not always about what they gain. How about what if nothing changes? Now, normally that pain drives everything. Pain drives everything, right? And if you've watched my videos, you're starting to really put that together. So here's some good examples for you. What happens financially if nothing changes this year? Okay? How much longer do you want to stay stuck? How much opportunity has already been lost waiting? Okay? And if you're in person, do things with your hands, right? Whatever, it doesn't matter. All right, so what ends up happening is now their brain starts emotionally calculating the cost of an action. All right, so this right here, that creates urgency naturally. It's huge. So you got to implement these things. You have to actually have the audacity and say, I wouldn't even call that audacity. You just need to get out there and talk and do things the right way and provide value. How do you do it? Questions. How do you get people to buy things they sell themselves? How do you do it? Through questions. Certain questions create urgency, pain, all those things, right? So point 5, write this down. People buy based on identity. It's true. People, you do things based on your identity. Okay? Right? Look, I'm a sales trainer, make sales training videos. Just literally. So you can dumb it down that simple, and it's true. So people buy based on identity. Look, human beings make decisions based on who they believe they are. Okay? Identity controls behavior. So someone who identifies as a future entrepreneur, a provider, a leader, a successful person, well, guys, they're going to make different decisions than someone operating from fear and limitation, right? So a good lesson for you to walk away with from this right here, the subject is help prospects emotionally connect to their true identity or a more advanced identity or a new identity, right? You already think differently than most people. Most people never attempt to build something. You sound serious about changing your future. You know, just talking with you here today, you truly seem like a business owner who does things the right way the first time. Bam, right? Now they emotionally step into that identity. You're right, I am someone who does things the right way. I mean, my gosh, it can't get any easier. Are you kidding me? And now that is beautiful psychology, okay? Point 6, human beings crave certainty about the future. Point 6, human beings crave certainty about the future. What does that mean, right? Well, most people are overwhelmed because they feel uncertain about life. Well, here's why. Uncertainty creates stress psychologically. This is why people crave direction, plans, systems, leadership, clarity, right? People buy certainty as much as they buy products. Here's a great example for you, okay? Hey, listen, here's exactly what the process looks like. You do not need to have everything figured out today, John. We help people step by step. Right? These are just simple little examples for you. Go ahead and plug them in. Practice on practicing. What ends up happening when you use these kind of things, these kind of this wording that I'm layering like this, right? Now their anxiety lowers. So the brain relaxes when it sees a path, and that's big time stuff, right? Point 7, write it down. Questions are more powerful than pitches. That's huge. It kills deals all the time. I mean, I listen to them relentlessly, ruthlessly. I'm listening to calls. What I'm hearing is Pitch. Well, I was training this guy named Chris today. He's a great guy. And I'm hearing pitch. Well, it's all through questions, right? And by the end of the training, he realized, Nate, you're right. I got to get them to sell themselves through good open-ended questions. It doesn't matter what they really say to me if I can flip it on to a question. Okay, those kinds of things, right? So people believe things stronger when they say them. If I say them, it hits much differently than if you say it to me, right? Now, if I can get them to sell themselves, it's beautiful. The brain emotionally attaches to self-generated thoughts stronger than outside information. So elite closers ask questions that make prospects emotionally sell themselves, right? Why is this important to you? What would life look like if this worked? What happens if nothing changes? Now the conversation becomes emotional instead of informational. Now they're building reasons to move forward. Okay, so point 8, let's write this down. People buy hope. For me, I think hope is one of the most important emotional drivers in human psychology, right? Optimism. Most people are emotionally exhausted, right? They're worn out. They want to believe their future can improve. They are capable. Change is possible. Their current situation is temporary, right? Here's a great lesson for you that you have to understand that your job is to not explain a product or your service. Your job is to restore belief and speak to people as though you're a motivational speaker. Not like one of those hoorah freaks, but you got to do things the right way. And I think you know what I'm talking about. Here's some great examples for you. So listen, I've seen people in your exact situation succeed. I just want you to know, listen, you're not behind. This is possible for you. Definitely possible for you too. I was talking to this guy the other day, or a couple months ago. He was in the same spot you were in, worked with me for a couple of months. I did my services with him, same ones you're doing, and he found that, boom. So you can feel found people, right? Understand that hope creates movement. Hopeless people stay stuck, and hopeful people take action. So now you know if I can get someone more hopeful about the future by painting a good picture, probably going to increase the odds of me closing this deal, right? So point 9, write this down. Neediness destroys authority. Prospects can emotionally feel desperation, okay? Here's why. Desperation psychologically lowers trust. Okay, what it does is neediness creates pressure, and pressure creates resistance. So understand, you may be doing accounting, you may be selling solar, whatever it is, but you are a closer at the end of the day. Remember, elite closers detach emotionally from needing the sale, right? I don't need people to buy from me. Okay, I need the people who need to buy from me, who actually need it, to buy from me if they want it. Whose business is it? Whose product is it? Whose service is it? They're using mine, but whose stuff is it? It's theirs, right? I don't truly need anything from anybody else, and that's the most important thing. You have to stay convicted, calm, certain, outcome independent, right? You have to bring that energy. I do not need to force this. I'm here to guide. I'm here to help. The value is going to speak for itself, okay? And that energy creates attraction instead of resistance. Let's move to the next point. Point 10. Point 10, write this down. Guys, people want leadership. They don't want pressure. All right? Most prospects are mentally overwhelmed before you ever speak to them. There's so many options in life. There's so many out there. Before you ever even speak to them, now they're going to speak to you. Right? Too many choices create paralysis psychology. All right? Psychologically. All right? Too much going on for them there. Weak salespeople ask, what do you want to do? I need you to guide them. Based on your goals, here's what makes the most sense, okay? Understand, your leadership lowers. It's going to lower their uncertainty. It's going to bring it way down, okay? And people trust calm direction, okay? This is why the best closers feel like trusted advisors instead of salespeople. Most people, when they speak to me, they don't think I'm selling them at all. They think I'm helping them. It's true. So point 11, emotion creates action. Emotion creates action. People act emotionally first, okay? Emotion creates momentum. Logic creates analysis. Too much logic without emotion creates indecision, all right? You have to paint emotional pictures, gosh darn it. You got to get out there like Picasso, like you're crazy, all right? And you got to paint emotional pictures. Look, let me show you one right here. Imagine waking up next year with clients paying you monthly. Imagine not stressing financially every month. Imagine finally feeling proud of what you built. What happens is the brain starts emotionally rehearsing success, okay? And that lowers resistance. Let's go to point 12. Man, I'm going today. I'm having fun today. Write this down. And when I call you salespeople, you are one. You're selling your services. You're a business owner. Don't fool yourself. Step into the right identity. Go ahead, do it. Most people already know what they should do. Fear is what's delaying their action. So what I mean by that is human beings that naturally avoid uncertainty, discomfort, and change. Your role in sales is helping prospects believe they can succeed. Change is what is possible. The future can improve and that they truly are capable. So understand that you're not being a manipulator. What you're doing is you're building belief. You're a belief builder. All right, so listen, I hope you enjoyed the video. Once you understand human psychology, those sales are going to change forever. Please, I'm begging, right? I'm praying. Please stop info dumping, sounding robotic, chasing people, memorizing scripts. You need to start understanding emotion, human behavior, identity, certainty, human nature, because the closer who understands people, you guys are always going to dominate people who really only understand those products. So make sure you like and subscribe. Check us out, Universal Accounting Center. Tax, bookkeeping, advisory certifications will help you build a business, teach you how to build a business even better, right? All right, we'll see you in the next one.